I'm going to go ahead and just unscrew the existing rack from the wall. I went to Lowe's and I picked up some lag screws to fasten these into the studs. Now, when I was also going to get a stud finder, but what I found out that when I pulled these off, I already marked the studs with my nephew when I originally hung this rack two years ago or whenever it was. So what I've noticed is, well, there's 16 on center, which they should be. So I went ahead and and marked the wall. I didn't need the stud finder. I could just mark this off the already existing lines, which were these two lines here. So I just went ahead. Now, another thing I'm starting to thinking, I was planning to stick the one here and the one here. But now maybe I should move it down further and have it start all the way down here, right? So by starting down here, that would put the other support here, leaving a lot of room in between the bandsaw and the wood rack, give me a little more room. What's going to happen is this screw, lag bolt will go through the thing, through the drywall, into the stud. Okay, right here, I mark up 78 inches from the floor, and that's where I want the top shelf of this rack to be, because the top shelf of this rack is going to continue all the way across my shop, allowing me to store long boards up high out of the way. 78 inches comes up to right about here on the wall, right? Which is just high enough to clear this. I don't want to build the shelf so when I go to change speeds, I can't get this open. So that's how I determined the top shelf height, was based on this. And that will be continued all the way across with the old shelf brackets. And I'll place them up there to continue and make that top shelf of the rack super long all the way across my shop. So what I have here is I have the mark where I'm going to place this. Now I'm going to worry about setting its height. And not whether it's straight or not. I'll do that on the next one. There we go. It's in. Now I'll go ahead and use a level, make sure this is perfectly up and down, and I'll drive the other two screws in. Okay. So I got that bottom one in, the top one. Now there's one more hole here, and I bought enough. I bought 6 bolts, 3 for each, put in there. You want to go with as much support because there is going to be a lot of weight. Now, they say that this shelf is rated at 100 pounds per shelf. Cool. So, I want to go ahead and put this other thing, and then we'll make sure we get the other one in the right spot. Now, one of the things, the rest of the shelves, the shelf brackets, are going to be completely level all the way across. These here aren't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of wood, right, and I will cut it at the bandsaw to form a wedge to level this top one out, and then I'll just go ahead and I'll literally just tape it into place. Just to hold it. That's really all that's needed. Okay, what I did is I took one of these, used the same piece of Badook that I used earlier to level the other side, and I went ahead and I did it here and I marked it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and drive in this top screw. and then plumb it up and go ahead and keep moving down the line. Now I think we're looking to have 3 brackets, not 4. Otherwise it'd be spaced kind of weird. So yeah, it looks to be 3 brackets. So I'm just going to go ahead and screw this in. Right into the stud. Okay. I will go ahead and level this up. Okay. And drive that one in. She goes. I'll drive just another screw in there. Right, that gives it a little more support while these two hold the weight. So what I'm going to do is we'll move down the line. Got 2 more to do. So let's move down. What I'm going to do is mark the next one. And what I'm going to do is I'll bring the board over like that. It's resting on the one I just hung. And I'll level it up. Make sure I'm in the right spot. And draw that hole. And I'll push that back. Okay. So now that that hole's in, I'll go ahead and drive that in, plumb it, and then put in all the screws, just like I did on the other ones. Here is the shelf, all the way across the top, and the main wood rack down there at the end. Seems to work, seems to be good. Now all I got to do is load it up. Okay, well, here it is. I got some boards on it. Most of my boards are too short. They fall in between. So I got to get either a longer board or a piece of ply to put to stack a lot of my smaller stuff up because the rack's too far apart. That's not really that big of a deal though. I'll just go ahead and lay down a bigger board and then stack the smaller stuff up on top of that bigger board. But this gives you an idea. I have plenty of room long ways. And I think this will work. Now, some of my future plans will incorporate into this. I'm thinking of pulling the bandsaw a little closer this way, which will give me more room in between the bandsaw and the drill press, and I'll show you. These will be separated a little more. Drill press will go down maybe another inch. This can move about, I don't know, 4 or 5 inches this direction away from opening up this space in here, which will eventually be my hanging dust collector, which will feed either 2 trunks. I will pull the trunk off and it will feed the bandsaw and the drill press, and then I can uncouple it and it will feed the router table / table saw, and that'll be my dust collection. And I can also pull it off and hook it into things like a joiner down the road, or rig something to catch most of the stuff from my planer, which does not have a dust collector. So that's basically it. The lumber storage, I'll be able to get most of this stuff up off the floor and onto the wall. Okay, so next time.